Hello fellow Earthlings, it's Libs, and today I'm going to be doing my Buzzword Reading Challenge TBR. So this challenge was created by Books and Lala, and it can either be done as reading one book a month for each of the prompts, or doing particular weeks in the months and reading a whole lot of books for the prompts. I'm going to do it more as a challenge over the whole year, so that gives me 12 books that I need to read for this challenge. I've already read one, which is the January book. I would have posted this earlier if I had realised this challenge was happening, but found out at the end of the month, so here we go. So the first prompt is to read a book with dream in the title, and for that I read A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is one of my favourite Shakespeare plays. I have this dinky little edition that I got from the Globe a long time ago. It looks very cute. It is not a practical book to read because it is tiny. So I ended up listening to this instead. I tried to read along with it, but that did not go particularly well because it's so tiny. But I really enjoy this play. It's one of my favourite Shakespeare plays, mainly just because it's so utterly ridiculous that it can't not bring a little bit of joy. I think I gave this 4 stars. Yeah, there's not much to say about A Midsummer Night's Dream. I don't even know how you would describe it. Just if you haven't read it or seen it, I would recommend giving it a go and finding out just how absolutely bonkers it is. The prompt for February is to read a book with a colour in the title, and for that I have decided that I will be reading The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Googe? I don't know. This is my very, very old copy that I doubt is in print anymore. I'm going to ignore who wrote the that there, but I must have got this book when I was like 11, and it's been a long time since I've read this, but I remember loving it as a kid, so I thought this would be a great time to reread this book. I vaguely remember something about, I think an orphan goes to live with a family member in this mysterious place, and there's all these things that she has to uncover. I remember bits and bobs.
I don't know.
Which is not useful, which is why I want to reread this, and it's literally the only book I own that had a colour in the title, so I'm looking forward to rereading this. The prompt for March is to read a book with time in the title, and so for that I've got Swing Time by Zadie Smith. I'd already wanted to read this book this year. It was in my 2021 TBR video. We all know that I don't really know that much about this, except that there is a lot of dancing involved, and I think it's set in the 60s. I think. I could be wrong, but I'm very excited to read this book, and they will be hitting 2 birds with 1 stone when I read this one in March. The April prompt is a bit more vague, and it's just a buzzword that has something to do with space. So for that I've chosen The Stylus Sea by Erin Morgenstern. We know this has been on my TBR for a really, really long time. It's just a really big book, so I tend to put it off a little bit, but this will give me the perfect excuse to finally read this, because I've had this for a while, and yeah, every time I open it I'm surprised by the amount of damage that I've somehow done to the book that I haven't read, and it makes a very scary noise whenever I start to open it. So that is exciting. We'll see how this one goes. I've heard mainly good things about this, but I want to see for myself. The prompt for May is house or home. So for that I've got The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House by Audre Lorde. This is an absolutely tiny one, but it'll give me a good excuse to read this since I've kind of been holding it for a readathon or something because of how tiny it is. But I'm really excited to read this one. I was also looking at maybe getting home. I was also thinking of purchasing Homegoing and possibly reading that for this prompt because it's been on my wish list for a really long time. So I'll see how that goes. But I definitely have this one that I can read. For June, the prompt is to have either a name or title in the cover. I've got The Six Tudor Queens, Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen by Alison Weir. This was another one that was in my 2021 TBR. So I should read this. It's another one that I'm scared of because it's so big. I have already started this like ages ago, but I'll have to start from the beginning because I do not remember it at all. But I know I quite liked it. So I could read this. I also have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller that I could read for this prompt, but I honestly don't think I'm going to be able to wait that long to read this because I just read Circus and I loved it so much, so I'll probably just end up reading this early. I was also thinking of maybe picking up Ariel by Sylvia Plath, which is a poetry collection, since I've had that on my wish list for a while, or maybe picking up Pandora's Jar because that's another book that I've really wanted for a really long time. Well, it came out last year, so I guess it's not a really long time, but every time I see it in a bookstore, I just really want it, so I might cave and pick that one up. July's Buzzword is Last, and I have no clue what I'm going to read for this prompt. I haven't got a single book that has Last in the title, and even looking at the books that other people have chosen for this prompt didn't really help me much. I wasn't really interested in any, so if you have any recommendations, please leave that in the comments because I do not know what I will be reading for this prompt. The August prompt is a book that has a time of day on the cover, in the title. For that I have picked The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is another one that I did start at some point but never finished, so I would like to read it. I mean, I got a decent chunk of the way in the first time, but I did not finish it. So I'm really keen to actually get around to completing this book, and we'll see how this one goes. I've had it for so long, I should just read it. The September Buzzword is Dark, and for that I think I'm going to pick up Dark Emu. That's another book that I've had on my wish list for a really long time, and I already knew I wanted to pick it up and read it this year, so I'll probably use it for this prompt. The prompt for October is to read a book with elements in the titles, like air, earth, water, fire, something like that. I have a whole heap that I've put down that I might read for it. I had The Sea by Iris Murdoch on my list. I don't really know anything about that, but I think it won some big award when it came out, so I'm kind of interested in that one. The Waves by Virginia Woolf is another one that I was thinking could be quite good because I keep meaning to read more Virginia Woolf and not doing it, so it'd be a good excuse to. At the moment I'm thinking This Green and Pleasant Land will be the one that I go with, just because I've heard Lena Norms talk about it so much and that just makes me excited to read it. The November Buzzword is Lost, so I think I'm going to pick up The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams for this prompt. That book's been everywhere all of last year, so I feel like I should pick it up because I'd like to talk about more Australian books. So I'll see if I can grab that one for this prompt. And last is December, which is a book with a day, a month, or a season in the title. I'm thinking either Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day or The Winter of the Witch, which is the final book in the Winter Night trilogy, and I've read the first two books and loved them. They were both in my favourite books of 2020 video, so we'll see which one I get around to. I think Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day is quite expensive because it's a Persephone book, and to get them in Australia they always cost quite a lot of money, so I guess it will depend on if I feel like spending $36 on a book. But I do really want to read that one anyway, so I might just fork out and do it. And then, yeah, it depends, because I don't know if I'm going to want to wait until December to read The Winter of the Witch. Whew. And those are my choices so far for the Buzzword reading challenge. Do we like that? I've already forgotten the name of it. Whew. I don't like filming videos in summer. It gets far too hot. But let me know if you're thinking of doing this challenge and what books you've chosen. I'm quite excited. I feel like this is just a good challenge, and it means you can pick what you want to read early and you don't feel weird about like reading a book that would have been perfect for a readathon. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get around to this one. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.